A regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees of the McAllen Independent School District will be held Tuesday, November 11th, 2025, beginning at 5:30 p.m. in the Dr. Ricardo Chapa Boardroom of the Administration Building of the McAllen Independent School District, 2000 North 23rd Street, McAllen, Texas 78501. Items listed on this agenda may be taken in an order other than is shown on this agenda. Unless removed from the consent agenda, items identified within the consent agenda will be acted on at one time. At this meeting, there may be discussion and action by the board on the items and subjects listed as follows. Item number 1, call the meeting to order. I have done so at 5:38 p.m. Item number 2, a moment of silence. Thank you. Item number 3, the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 5, consent agenda items. I'm sorry, item number 4, I skipped forward. Public comments. We do have public comments this evening, and we're going to go ahead and play the video first, and then we'll call you up in order.
Here are the public comment procedures. Number 1, individuals who wish to participate during the portion of the meeting designated for public comment shall sign up at McAllenISD.org at least 1 hour prior to the start of the scheduled meeting. Number 2, an individual's comments to the board shall not exceed 2 minutes per meeting. Number 3, the board shall not tolerate disruption of the meeting by members of the audience. Thank you.
Okay,
Información a personas para comentarios públicos. Número 1. Las personas que deseen participar durante la parte de la reunión designada por comentarios públicos deberán registrarse en McAllenISD.org al menos 1 hora antes del inicio de la reunión programada. Número 2. Los comentarios de un individuo a la Junta no excederán de 2 minutos por reunión. Y por último, número 3. La Junta no tolerará la perturbación de la reunión por parte de los miembros del público asistente. Gracias.
Okay, first we have Dr. Jack Ruelas.
Good evening, board members. My name is Dr. Jack
Here are
Ruelas, and I am here as a parent spokesperson advocating for equitable fine arts facilities across McAllen ISD high schools. And I've reviewed the bond proposal presented on November 7th, and I want to highlight a critical gap. The district correctly identified middle schools with music and performing arts spaces that are inadequate, housed in portables that need replacement, or are currently housed in schools' cafetoriums. These are necessary investments, and I commend the district for recognizing these needs. However, the high schools are absent from any music or art space construction or modernization plans. The bond proposes HVAC and lighting upgrades across multiple campuses and a performing arts center that is supposed to serve the entire district, but nothing to address the daily learning environments where our current high school students spend hundreds of hours each year. Let me be clear about what inadequate looks like at the high school level. Leaky roofs in band halls and auditoriums, rodent infestations, practice rooms converted to offices due to the lack of space, and multiple music programs sharing facilities never designed for that purpose. Our students are learning music and fine arts in overcrowded, unsanitary conditions, then expected to perform at a state-of-the-art center. That's a showcase without a foundation. The data tells the story. From 2014 to 25, choir enrollment dropped 32%, band enrollment fell 20%, and we're losing students between middle and high school at an alarming rate. In 2024-25, we had over 5,000 middle school fine arts students, but only 3,912 transferred over to high school. That's a 23% drop. Students are leaving fine arts programs, and inadequate facilities are a contributing factor. If we can identify inadequate facilities at the middle school level and propose solutions, we must do the same for our high schools. I'm asking the board to amend the bond proposal to include rehabilitation, construction, expansion, and modernization of art, music, and performing arts spaces across all the high schools. Our students deserve spaces that match the district's commitment to excellence. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have Saida Ruelas.
Good evening. My name is Saida Ruelas, and I'm here to continue the conversation my husband Jack just started. A district-wide performing arts center sounds impressive. It will look beautiful in renderings and press releases, but we need to ask ourselves, what problem does it actually solve? A performing arts center hosts performances, special events, but our students don't spend all their time performing. A lot of the time they spend is rehearsing and growing as musicians, actors, artists, and in their home campuses. And right now those spaces are failing them. Let me paint you a picture of what daily fine arts education looks like at our high schools. Band hall roofs leak, practice rooms are being used as storage closets, and director offices because there's no other space. Auditoriums have poor air conditioning and ventilation. Mariachi programs hold classes in portables or must share rooms allocated for other arts. These are systemic infrastructure failures. Jack shared enrollment data that it demonstrates students are leaving fine arts programs. They're not leaving because we don't have a performance venue. They're leaving because their daily experience is uninspiring, uncomfortable, and in some cases, even unsafe. When students walk into a band hall with a leaky roof and rodent droppings, they get a clear message. This program is not a priority. When talented students choose to drop fine arts and or transfer to other districts, we lose not just their participation, we lose their potential. The bond proposal correctly identifies inadequate facilities in middle schools. I'm asking this board to apply that same logic to our high schools. Excuse me. Our high schools deserve modernized, expanded facilities that can actually support these programs. Redirect the funds allocated for a district-wide performing arts center towards rehabilitation, expansion, and modernization of existing high school fine arts facilities. Build adequate storage, fix leaking roofs and poor air conditioning, create dedicated spaces. I urge this board to amend the bond proposal to prioritize high school fine arts facility upgrades. Give our students the foundation they need to succeed, and the performances will take care of themselves. Thank you. Sorry for the cough.
Thank you. Next, we have Joshua Vento.
Good evening. My name is Joshua Vento, and I'm the athletic coordinator for Morris Middle School. I'm here today to ask for consideration at the next board meeting to name our Morris Gym to the William Bill Cameron Gym. Coach Cameron came here to Morris the year we received our name in 1985. He taught there for 33 years, 14 of them as our athletic coordinator. During his tenure, Coach Cameron established a tradition of excellence that is highly respected by the students he coached and the colleagues he worked with. I, along with many others, played for this program while he was here, and many of us have had the privilege to return here and work with him. During his time here, Coach set a standard for how great programs succeed. He set a high standard for his athletes, and we all strive to meet that expectation through his leadership. He and his coaches led their teams to many district championships and winning seasons. If you were to ask him how many championships he's won, he will tell you none. He will only say it was all the kids. He used to sign off on his messages to us coaches by saying, "Thank you for all you do for our kids. We are here to say thank you for all he did for our kids." Although he is retired, Coach continues to be a strong presence here at Morris and within the MISD athletics community. He continues to donate his time to athletes and coaches whenever he can. Cameron introduced me to athletics when I was here as a student. He continued to teach me as I coached for him, and he continues to mentor me today. I'm honored to represent our Morris community, along with all those present that he coached and worked with over his amazing career. Thank you for your time and consideration. We believe this gesture will honor all the time, dedication, and commitment that Coach Cameron has given to our kids in Morris community through his 33 years of service.
Thank you. We have David Solis. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over Juan Lopez.
Good evening, members of the board and distinct district leaders. I'd like to address the recent changes to the teacher incentive allotment criteria that have caused deep concern among our teachers. When this program was introduced, educators were informed that a T-test score of 4.5 would qualify for the master designation. Many of us worked toward that goal, aligning our professional growth and instructional practices with that clear expectation. However, the district has now raised the threshold to a 4.8 T-test score and also increased the student growth measure requirements to 75% for masters, 65% for exemplary, and 60% for recognized. Previously, those standards were 70, 60, and 55%, aligning with the state's minimums. This sudden change drastically reduces the number of teachers who can qualify for the higher designations, and it does so after we have already been evaluated. In any fair system, the rules and expectations remain consistent throughout the process. Changing them retroactively undermines teacher trust and the integrity of the program. The district compared this process to sports, finding an MVP among teachers. But in sports, the goalposts don't move after the game ends. In the same way, teachers deserve a fair and consistent standard, one that honors the work already done under the original criteria. We respectively ask that district honor the previous criteria for this cycle and that any new thresholds be applied prospectively and retroactively. Thank you for your time and for supporting fairness and transparency for all educators. Thank you.
Thank you. David Solis.
Good evening. My name is David Solis. I'm the head choir director at Morris Middle School, and I would like to begin with a quote. "The influence of a good teacher can never be erased." I came here today to ask for consideration to name our Morris choir room the Beverly Bradburn Avila Choir Room. Ms. Bradburn started working in McAllen in 1986 and at Morris from 1990 to 2015, but her impact continues to benefit countless students. I am joined today by Ms. Lopez and Ms. Eason, who are examples of those students inspired by Mrs. Bradburn to become the next generation of choir directors. It's always a pleasure to speak with former students of Mrs. Bradburn. Their eyes glow with excitement and pride as they speak of their years singing in the Morris Choir. Some now excited for their own children to get the same opportunity. During her time at Morris, Mrs. Bradburn established a legacy of success and excellence that has set the standard. She held the largest choir program in the region, consistently maintained sweepstakes at UIL, and consistently placed the largest number of all region choir members. Beverly has always been a supportive mentor teacher. As chairman of TMEA Region 15, she offered leadership and mentorship to all new choir directors, both in McAllen ISD and in the region, including myself. Even after retirement, Beverly continues to share her love of music and mentorship with students and teachers by substituting and donating her talent for the performances and competitions. In support of our school teachers, Beverly continues to serve on the State Executive Board of AFT and the McAllen AFT Executive Board. 15 years after meeting Mrs. Bradburn and learning from her dedication and mentorship, I find myself privileged to be at the helm of the very same program, along with Ms. Lopez, inspired by the legacy that she built over 25 years. I believe this kind gesture would honor that legacy. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Next, we have Frank Chavero.
Good afternoon, board members, Dr. Gutierrez. My name is Frank Chavero, and I'm here today to provide comments in support of facilities, upgrades, new construction to the current facilities where McAllen ISD is currently housed. As a community member who supports fine arts, and as a dad to an amazingly talented trumpeter who's in the audience today, who is a member of the McAllen ISD Varsity Group, as well as the McAllen Band Wind Ensemble, I'm deeply concerned that the trajectory of the preliminary bond election items to be discussed at the board workshop tomorrow. The McAllen ISD is currently practicing in a refurbished portable, which is over 40 years old, with a history of mold, leaking and non-working AC units, ants, vermin, and on and on. These deficiencies check off the box in the health and safety category, modernization category, and site and infrastructure category of the bond election items that should be included in the list of priority 1 projects for McAllen. I had the opportunity to be a community member on the facility needs assessment group and toured the McAllen vertical campuses to identify facility needs. I and multiple others, including McAllen ISD staff, had the opportunity to see firsthand the facility needs for the mariachi and music programs and CTE. To my disappointment, in the PowerPoint that is to be presented to you all tomorrow, in the $335 million bond projection of possible bond election items, there is no mention of any upgrades to the fine arts building at McAllen and no mention of any new construction for the mariachi program. Now is the time to clearly identify the needs for upgrades without the need for an off-site performing arts facility. An off-site performing arts facility will in no way address the needs of the music programs at McAllen, including your very own 8-time state mariachi champions. This is a call to action to each and every one of you to visit the portable and other fine arts facilities at McAllen and to see for yourselves where these talented musicians are making beautiful music and enriching their lives. Respectfully, I would say it's hopeless, but I have faith that each and every one of you will do the right thing tomorrow and ask your facilities group to include the requested new construction to the McAllen ISD program facilities and fine art facilities at McAllen, like there are in other districts. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And lastly, we have Sylvia Tanguma.
Good evening, Dr. Gutierrez and trustees. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of McAllen AFT regarding the recent adjustments to the teacher incentive allotment cut points. And as I've learned, SGM. Many of our members feel they have negatively been impacted by the district's decision to raise the measurement standards after the data capture year. Teachers plan their instruction and professional goals based on the information originally provided to them, the state minimum standards. And these post adjustments have resulted in some being moved down in designation or removed from the program entirely. While the district cites the clause stating that cut points may be adjusted and finalized in September, that detail we feel was not clearly communicated or emphasized from the outset. As a result, many teachers believed the original measurement were final and reliable. They would also like clarification on SGM. We also heard from a campus where staff were instructed to watch a recorded presentation by Mr. Grossi with no opportunity to ask questions or seek clarification. For a program as complex and consequential as TIA, two-way communication is essential. Additionally, it appears that the list of members serving the TIA committees has not been updated in over 2 years and includes individuals who may no longer be with the district. We believe this presents a valuable opportunity to refresh and broaden participation so that current staff voices are represented in the process. To strengthen communication and trust, we respectfully suggest that the district include at least one teacher representative from each campus on the TIA committee. This would ensure consistent two-way communication and provide teachers with a clearer understanding of how TIA decisions are made. The central issue here is clear and consistent communication, with stronger collaboration, regular updates, and opportunities for staff input. Confidence in the TIA process can be reinforced. Our educators remain committed to excellence and accountability. They simply ask for clarity and open communication in return. As I was learning right now, there's some questions that some of the teachers want me to give to you all, so I will be typing those up and sending them to you all so that you can see what it is that they are asking.
Thank you. We're now at item number 5, consent agenda items.
Madam Vice President, I move that we approve consent agenda items A through F.
Do I have a second? Second. Okay, I have a motion by trustee Sofia Peña, a second by trustee Kittleman, Dr. Trustee Kittleman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries 6-0. And that takes us to item 6, instructional services, instructional leadership, human resources, business and operations, and Board of Trustees items. 6A1, instructional services, instructional leadership items. 6A1, report regarding elementary science Olympiad. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration will report on Elementary Science Olympiad. Ms. Jeanette Nino, Associate Superintendent for Instructional Leadership, will share more news about this. And this is an information purposes only. Go ahead, Ms. Nino.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. This is just to provide a background on something that has started for the first time here at elementary schools at McAllen ISD, which is Science Olympiad. Science Olympiad began back in 2015 with the goal to increase the representation of McAllen ISD schools competing in this prestigious science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM opportunity, especially because this competition is hosted here in McAllen, Texas. South Texas College is our regional host for the Secondary Science Olympiad competition, and since then, involving our McAllen ISD secondary schools, we now earn the top ranks in this area for the regional competition, and now it's time for elementary students to engage and be pioneers of having Science Olympiad at the elementary level for the first district in Texas, and that we have researched only 4 across the nation. So again, we are pioneers of having our students compete And with that being said, we might ask, well, why Science Olympiad for students at McAllen ISD in the elementary level? It really allows students to try on a variety of science experiences. It also allows them to develop soft skills like teamwork, collaboration, and problem solving. And it just gives them an opportunity to consider a future career possibly in the area of STEM. And overall, just their experience helps them decide in choosing or attending a college or university, and that's why the competitions are hosted at a college or university setting. And lastly, it also serves as just recruitment and retainment for our students who are currently enrolled in our district, in just creating that pipeline for students in elementary to know that there are strong teams in our middle schools and high schools that they can continue to be involved in as they're moving across their secondary experiences. I'm appreciative to our partnering with our McAllen ISD secondary Olympiad coaches. They were very excited that this opportunity is now expanding into the elementary. And I'm thankful to our teachers who have said yes to be a sponsor and become an elementary science Olympiad coach. So they have had an opportunity to just have collaborative conversations around some questions, and more importantly, just how to support our first-year Science Olympiad elementary coaches. Here's just an infographic on membership snapshot of what Science Olympiad looks like in our nation and how competitive it is and a prestigious opportunity. And in working with Mrs. Beltran, who is our elementary science coordinator, we have adopted a lot of those events from the secondary science Olympiad into the elementary, and then also added some events there for students to engage that are grade and age appropriate for them as well. And our teachers, again, our Science Olympiad coaches, we have one per campus, so all 18 of our elementary schools are represented, and they're going to be competing in January. All of our coaches had a great experience at their first inaugural coaches clinic at South Texas College. And again, just giving them the opportunity to engage in what this is going to be about, and they've already started practicing with our students at the schools. This is overall a tournament timeline, and so we are excited to host our inaugural elementary Science Olympiad competition in January of 2026. And overall, just this is the competition overview. Again, all 18 of our elementary schools are represented. The competition team includes 3rd to 5th graders this year. We are looking to onboard kinder through 5th grade next year in moving into year 2. They are small teams, 15 students plus 2 alternates. And overall, their goal is to make sure they earn the least number of points, which earns them the highest rank. And so in doing so, they're not just competing themselves, they're competing with a partner in each event. And the overall goal is to work between all 15 of us to make sure that we get the least amount of points to rank the highest. And our 1st through 3rd place students will earn a medal at this event, at this competition, and 1st through 3rd overall for school teams, they'll earn trophies. And again, we're excited for January 2026. And something Science Olympiad is known for in their nationwide, statewide competitions is that Spirit Award. So we will also mirror that for the elementary experience. And again, a big thank you to our teachers who have stepped up to say, I'm willing to try this. We don't want a student to lose an opportunity such as Elementary Science Olympiad. And so again, at least 18 coaches across the district. Some have found a colleague to co-sponsor. And I'd like to introduce Mrs. Stephanie Beltran, our elementary science coordinator, and have her add just a few words. And also, if any of our elementary science Olympiad coaches are in the audience, if you would stand so we can recognize you for taking on this new experience for our students.
Good evening. I'm super excited to be bringing this opportunity to our kiddos. When we first brought Science Olympiad, everyone's like, what is, and at the elementary level, like, what is that? Like, what are we going to be doing? And then we had our coaches clinic, and they just left. Like, I wish you could have felt the energy in that room. They left feeling pumped, and then they've already started practicing with their students. And each event is very unique, and every kid that's passionate about science, like, we had such a high number of kids that were interested where we actually had to have tryouts. I know at Rayburn specifically, the team's only 15 students, but she had like one grade level, just 4th grade, like 20 kids interested. So you could just see just the opportunity that we bring to our students here. I'm super excited that we get to bring this to our kids.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Beltran. Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez.
Thank you,
board.
Thank you.
And please make sure that that's on our calendar.
Yes, please.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, we'd love to. Madam Vice President, if I may, I'd like to reorganize the agenda to bring up item C1. I'm sorry, 6. C, is it 6? No.
You're looking for the text?
Yeah.
C1.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Peña. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. 6-0. Now we'll take up item 6C1. That is business and operations. Report regarding the delinquent tax collections for the period of July 1st, 2025 to September 30th, 2025. Dr. Gutierrez.
It's Ms. Kelly Salazar from the firm Lineberger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson will present the delinquent tax collections report for July 1st, 2025 through September 30th of 2025. This item is for information purposes only. Ms. Salazar.
Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez, Vice President Regalado, and esteemed members of the board. Kelly Salazar here on behalf of Lineberger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson. I'd like to break from my usual reporting and to introduce our newest attorney, Alejandra Robledo. She comes from the DA's office for the last 4 years, so we're excited to have her part of the team, and hopefully you'll be seeing her more, but maybe not here because I like it here too. I'm here to present the delinquent tax collection report for the period July 1st through September 30th, which is your first quarter report. As always, on behalf of McAllen ISD, we focus our collections on 2 basic premises. The first is to collect from the individual taxpayer first, and secondly, use the tool of litigation only as a final option to collect. During this reporting period, we completed 3 demand mailings, mailing over 6,500 statements to delinquent taxpayers in the district. We made or received over 1,300 phone calls. We had 74 payoff requests, and we knocked on 54 doors within this jurisdiction to encourage folks to come in and initiate payment agreements. We filed 16 lawsuits, disposed of 15, and we currently have pending 255 lawsuits representing over $1.5 million owed to the district in base penalty and interest. We regularly conduct tax sales and resales involving properties with little or to no effort to pay. We completed 2 tax sales, placing 4 properties for sale. 2 were sold and 2 were pulled prior to sale due to a payment in full or a payment agreement with our office. Your first quarter collection highlights, you'll see we collected over $1.3 million in base penalty and interest, including those amounts of refunded dollars. That is slightly down compared to the prior year, prior first quarter. This is just the first quarter. But last year's first quarter was a bit of an outlier historically. The current dollars that you see right now are on par for the past 5 years as a whole. But I also wanted to highlight that you haven't got as many refunds this first quarter compared to the last first quarter. So we'll continue monitoring that and reporting back to you on it. Looking forward to the next quarter and beyond, we will continue litigate cases to their fullest on behalf of the district. We'll continue with our mailing program. And I'm not sure if I shared with the board our digital outreach program, which is a new program that we've initiated back at the end of August, which is text messaging. And not just simple text messaging, but the kind that you receive from valid sources. And I don't know how informed the district is. I am recently pretty well informed on this process, but if you get a text message from an organization or a business that is 5 to 7 digit coded, and that indicates a higher level of scrutiny and authenticity, that's what we're doing on behalf of your district. Included with that text message is a logo indicating that it's our firm, and that's so far seen some positive results. And I look forward to reporting to you specifically on those results as we accumulate those, maybe at the fiscal year end. It's pretty interesting, kind of have to evolve technology as things go by. So I look forward to sharing more of those results with you at a later time. But that concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions. Alejandra is here if you want to ask her any questions too. But she's only been with us for about 2 weeks, so that would be a little unfair.
Put on the spot.
Ms. Salazar, on the text messaging that they receive, are they able to make arrangements, or is it kind of a notification?
What is really neat is they are able to click on the link and initiate the payment options there. We have received quite a few calls. Is this real? What's going on? I think the more it goes on, the more people will become accustomed to it. You know, the younger people, maybe like Alejandra's age, it's something they're used to. You know, let me just pay my bills, you know, electricity bills, water bills, everything online. And kind of we need to make that transition in what we do as well. No, they don't know how to write checks or put a stamp. My children are like, what is this? You put on a postcard? Or I'm like, oh. So, yes.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Salazar.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Good luck, Alejandra.
Thank you. We started taking Cash App and Venmo.
Okay, we'll move forward to the next item, number 2. That's five. 6C2. 6A2, I'm sorry.
6A2.
Report regarding state and federal programs. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration will report on the state and federal programs. Dr. Cynthia Olivares, Director of State and Federal Programs, will present more information on this item. And this is also an item that is for information purposes only. Go ahead, Dr. Olivares.
Good evening, Dr. Gutierrez and Board of Trustees. My name is Cynthia Olivares, and I'm the Director for State and Federal Programs. And this evening, I'm going to provide you with a presentation, an overview and update of our state and federal programs and the grants that we operate out of our office. So the overarching goal of state and federal programs is to support the district with ensuring academic success for all of our students. We share the same vision and mission as the district, and the funding that we receive really is channeled into Goal 1, which is student achievement, and Goal 2, which is people development. These are the 4 federal grants that we receive from the federal government through our Every Student Succeeds Act. When we apply for our grants through the consolidated federal grants application, we're applying for Title I Part A, Improving Basic Programs, Title I Part C, the Education of Migratory Children, Title II Part A, Supporting Effective Instruction, and Title IV Part A, Student Support and Academic Enrichment. There is also a Title III grant that I do not manage. That is managed through the bilingual office through Ms. Rocio Nava. But all of the grants run from a period from July 1st, 2025 of the current year through September 30th of the following year. There's another budget that we also take care of in our office, and that is a state budget, and that's the State Compensatory Education Program, which is now the Compensatory Education Program. There was a name change on that. Ever since I started in this program, and for many years, districts were required to provide 55% of the money that they received for State Compensatory Education Program to be sure that that 55% was being used towards closing the achievement gaps for all of our at-risk students. This year, we still did receive that 55%, which turned into $11.7 million, a little over $11.7 million. With that money, we do fund 166 full-time employees, of which 101 of those are teachers. We have teachers at our ING, Instruction and Guidance Center. We fund part-time tutors, contracts for services, and contracts for instructional materials. We fund social workers, credit recovery programs, our summer school program, and extra duty tutoring allocations, and then our, not all, but 15 of our Head Start teachers. Now, the compensatory education program, as I mentioned, there was an update. The name changed, they dropped state, and so now it is simply compensatory education program. And under Senate Bill 991, they did add 2 at-risk indicators, so now we're up to 17 at-risk indicators. They did add excessive absences and truancy as 2 more indicators for students who are at risk. And that is just simply so that schools can focus on the students who need those interventions and additional supports. They also removed that 55% ceiling. So now districts are not required to provide 55% of their state comp ed funding to at-risk students, but they can give more or less. The ceiling just isn't there. However, the services must continue. So we still have to provide services for at-risk population. Now, circling back to our Title I Part A grant. This is the largest of our federal grants, and this year's award came in at a little over $11 million. And in that one, we do fund 140 full-time employees. Only 27 are teachers, but the rest are in other positions at campuses. They just aren't teachers. They could be specialists. They could be other positions, school improvement facilitators and such. But you'll notice that approximately $7.5 million does go towards salaries, and then we do have monies for campus allocations so that campuses can purchase whatever they need for their campuses based on their needs assessments, any instructional materials or resources that they may need for their campuses. We do also set aside monies for contracts for summer school, and we have to reserve some funding for other special programs. And then we also we leave money aside for district-wide purchases as well. Parent and family engagement is a component of Title I. It is a required component of Title I, and we have a very robust program for our parents. Everything that we offer for our parents is free, and the whole purpose of our program really is to inform our parents and to help our parents help their child at home so that the child can be successful at school. This month actually is Parent Engagement Month, and November 20th is Parent and Family Engagement Day. We are having our Parent Engagement Conference this Thursday at Cathy Middle School from 5 to 7:30, and I believe all of you are invited, so if you want to drop by. But we found out today there are 2 basketball games going on too, so it'll be busy. This program is really fantastic. We have so many parents that drop in at Navarro to take advantage of the classes and the resources that we offer. We do set aside $275,000 for this program, which is a big amount, but we see a lot of parent participation at our campus. So we do also have 13 parent-family engagement specialists and 4 instructional assistants at all of our Title I campuses, which is 17 of our elementaries, 6 middle schools, and 5 high schools. We also partnered with the McAllen PD Crime Stoppers so that we can identify 200 families. We already have identified 200 high-need families that will be receiving vouchers for Thanksgiving. And this is just some of the skills, some of the classes that we offer. We have the evening study program, which is really our citizenship classes and our ESL classes, job skills classes during the day, sewing classes, crafts, CPR, and cricket class. We have MOUs with STC and Region 1 to provide ESL classes, cake decorating classes, welding classes, and basic mechanics. So this year we've had already over 530 parents participating in our programs. And we do offer childcare in the evenings, and so every Tuesday and Thursday parents come to class, the children are taken to childcare, and our child nutrition program offers dinner for the children, as well as activities. And then our Title I Part C program, which is the education of migratory children, this year we've identified so far 473 students, and their award this year came in at a little under $500,000, and they provide services, additional services for our migrant families. They try to provide opportunities that the students may not get, educational field trips. We have monthly parent meetings. We just had a PSAT boot camp for our 10th and 11th graders to provide that additional support for them right before the test. And there is a literacy night that is also created for the families to join in and participate as a family so that the parents can also understand all of the services that are afforded to them. It's a great program. It's a small program. Mr. Raul Vega is a coordinator, and he has 4 office staff that help him with the program. Title II, this is a fantastic grant. This helps us support effective instruction. And with this one, I really like it because I get to work with Dr. De Hoyos, with Ms. Nino, with the coordinators, with Patty Peña, to try to bring down consultants and professional development for our teachers so that our teachers can have the best professional development and in turn provide excellent instruction in the classroom. This past summer, we did partner with the National Math and Science Initiative, and I think they were a little afraid to present me with it because it was a big tag to it. But we do have a good amount of money in this grant, and so we were able to get them to come and train a lot of our teachers here. It was more cost effective than sending teachers out. So, and we're continuing that partnership this spring, which is very exciting. And so Title II is a fantastic little grant. It's small, but it is mighty, and we're able to do many things with that. We also partner with UTRGV, and we help to support the teacher interns with UTRGV, which is a fantastic program and great. We're beginning to really see our return on investment with that program. Last is the Title IV Part A, which is the Student Support and Academic Enrichment Program. This is the fun one that really is not tied to STARS, not tied to state assessments or anything. It is really helping children just be creative, right? So we do offer campus allocations for STEAM activities to each campus. We support the library services so that they can provide funding for their makerspace in their libraries, and then summer enrichment programs for fine arts and PE. With our safe and healthy students component, we split fund 2 officers that handle Penny and Buddy, and then they do a lot of community outreach. They also do some mental health, and we have a healthy students program with Nurse Gutierrez, that supports the high school nurse assistants, support the elementary nurses as well. And then our Elevate program provides supplemental equipment to the Elevate program. And so that's been really great working with Mr. McClenny on that. And then the technology component, we've got a lot of various contracts, again, Makerspace and the library, to help students just explore coding and a lot of fun activities. So all of the activities that are in Title IV have to be tied into literacy or math, and we do have an outline for the campuses to provide it. There's a lot of documentation to it, but the schools are making good use of this money as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Oh, I do have one question.
Yes.
You guys are doing such a great job. Wonderful outreach. Thank you for all you do. Something that just came to my mind on the parents' end, I know we partner with STC and others to help with courses and strengthening those relationships. One thing I'm just wondering if there's space for is courses related to technology. I wonder if those families get support, because our district communicates primarily through technology, and I think it's tough to learn, and for students to do homework, take home, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Is there any space for that?
Support. Well, with our parent program, definitely. We did offer a technology course through STC, and that is every year we do take a survey from parents to see what classes they're interested in, and if the course makes, then we do that. So yes, we do have we have a lab actually where parents can come in, and if they need support, they know they can come to us for help. But in addition to that, we have through Title I. At the middle schools and the high schools, we have a Title I instructional assistant for tech support. And that individual is a full-timer that's at each middle school, each high school, that is there to support parents with tech support. And they're housed out of the library, and they're funded through Title I. And so they're there to support parents with any kind of technical support that they might need, and students. And so we help parents that way. And so we do try to also provide that support for parents with technology through our parent specialists when they're at the campuses. But we can definitely offer a class and ask parents again if that is something that they would want to
there's something I thought of.
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
Also just for families who have a language barrier when they come to our campuses, what support is provided for them to be able to even communicate with? I mean, I know this happens campus to campus level probably, but I do hear from a lot of families that maybe are not as involved. It's because of this language barrier. And does this department offer support?
All of the communication that goes out from our parent and family engagement is in English and Spanish.
Okay,
and
great.
So, but if they do need help, we always provide our contact information. The parent specialist is always there to support if they need some help, if parents have questions about certain programs. Unfortunately, we don't have a parent specialist at each campus. We only have 13 of them, so they each have 2 campuses, so they're every other day at each campus. But definitely, it's just a matter of them asking. We are available for any kind of translating that they may need.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments or questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Olivares.
Thank you, Dr. Olivares.
Okay, moving on to item 3, a report regarding intention to apply for student, teachers, and officers preventing, school violence program grant through the U.S. Department of Justice. Dr. Gutierrez.
The U.S. Department of Justice will be providing grant opportunities that will increase support for students and families that will allow for preventive measures for school violence. Mr. Adrian Garza, our Family Treatment Program Manager, will present more information, and this item is for information purposes only. Mr. Garza?
Thank you so much. Dr. Gutierrez, thank you, Board of Trustees. What we're doing is we're going to apply for a grant that is totaled in $1 million, but it's over a span of 3 years. With the grant, it's more for training, right, for officers, teachers. Before, we currently have a 2021 grant through the STOP Department of Justice program, and the only issue that we have is that we can't hire clinicians through this grant, right? It's all for training. Right now, the current 2021 grant, we're allowed to hire clinicians, but with this one, it's just all for training. All right, so what we're doing on our end is trying to figure out a way where we can leverage our partnerships with Tropical Texas Bureau of Health, DHR, South Texas Health, and Palms to make sure that we have those clinicians in place to provide those services that are beyond training, right? Family Treatment Program right now has responsibilities for threat assessment, for school safety. We are involved in Safe Super School program teams, but all this grant is just strictly training. So we want to make sure that, as far as the school district, we move forward with clinical support, we move forward with mental health services, and not just training. I know that Chief will come up, a little bit later, but right now we're in collaboration with Chief Silva and our PD, our McAllen PD as well, and we're trying to make sure that we have all the tools that they need to ensure that they're trained and they know exactly what to do. But this Department of Justice, they switch things a little bit, and we can't get clinical services, and that's what we need. We need clinicians in the schools. We need clinicians at the campuses. We need to support our counselors, which this will do. So that's why we're intending to apply for this.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
Can you break down the training? Like, what does the training look like? But then also, what does it look like on the day-to-day level for teachers and staff?
Yeah, we're looking at usually what the DOJ asks us to do when we write these grants is they look for an evidence-based program.
Okay, good.
Right. So right now we're training staff on ASK suicide prevention. Mm-hmm. Right. So that is a training that we require for all staff members at each campus. So that is what we're doing right now. So that would be like just involving those staff members, and a lot of times our issues are staff members are so busy, and we can't send them to like a youth mental health first aid training for 7 hours a day because they're involved in campus activities, and that's why we have ASK, and that's only about an hour training. So that's what we're doing right now. It's evidence-based. TA approves it, and that's what we're doing right now.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Garza.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Next, we have a 6C4, report regarding teacher incentive allotment 2024-2025, data submission. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, administration will report on the teacher incentive allotment for the 24-25 data submission. Mr. John Grossi, our TIA instructional facilitator, will present more information, and this also is an item for information purposes only. Mr. Grossi?
Good evening, everybody. I want to start off by saying
that before I even begin with this presentation, I know we've received a lot of feedback, and I want to make sure that I front load the most important thing, which is that this district has taken very seriously our responsibility and our goal in this program to maximize the number of eligible teachers, and also to maximize the number of proposed designations in alignment with the state's expectations for the program, for validation and for system alignment, and also with our district plan of alignment as well. However, we do want to designate teachers, and I want to stress that right at the beginning. That being said, I'll go ahead and get started. The teacher incentive allotment is designed to incentivize teachers to maximize two primary things, which is student growth and their teacher evaluation scores. The purpose of this is that evaluation leads to research-based instruction, which leads to increased student growth. So we check to make sure the instruction's happening in a research-based manner, and then we check to make sure that that student growth is occurring in the classrooms. And those are the two components of a scoring system that the state mandates. The state does have expectations regarding the statewide averages for each level of designation. Once we analyze the teacher's scores under the teacher incentive allotment, they can be proposed for a designation by any district that's submitting or participating in the program, including us. When districts propose their teachers, not other districts, excuse me. But what I'm saying is, there is an expectation that districts can propose teachers for recognized, exemplary, and master level. Each level comes with an increased allotment amount, which the teacher is eligible for 90% of under our local district plan. When when a teacher earns a designation, that begins a 5-year clock. That designation will be placed on their certificate in the year following the data capture, and it will last for 5 years from August 1st onward. Thank you. Because the designation follows a teacher for 5 years, over the course of a program, districts accrue more designations, because the fact that you earned a designation in year A does not require you to earn a designation in year B to still count as a designated teacher. As I said earlier, we are prioritizing the expansion of our eligible teachers. In year 1 of our plan, we had 750 eligible teachers, and in year 2, we had expanded that to 1,239 eligible teachers. I did receive a question about what is our teacher population. We have approximately 1,500 teachers in McAllen ISD at any given time. Right now, I believe we're at 1,514, according to, but we're a little bit over what we were at last year. We had about 1,400 and some teachers last year, and that 1,239 lists eligible teachers. There are some that were taken out because if they don't complete an eligible year of service, if they were hired mid-year, if they're not actually a district employee, they may be like a Head Start employee or something like that, so we remove them from the grand total. This is information about the individual data captures. As I said, in year 1, we had 750 eligible teachers, and as you can see on the second slide with the percentages, our total designation percentage for the first year was 29% of our eligible teacher population, not of our total staff population, 29% of our eligible teacher population. In the second year, which was our big expansion year, we took big steps to expand, and I'll show that on the next slide. When we increased our number of eligible teachers, we increased from having 1 student growth measure to having a total of 11 student growth measures, and this was done to include other teachers from CTE department, physical education department, fine arts department. Many teachers were started to be included in the teacher incentive here in McAllen. And as you can see in the second year, we had 1,239, but our total percentage of proposed designations, proposed because we have to submit them for validation to the state, went up to 33% of that eligible teacher population. Earlier I talked about the accrual process, and when a district continues to run its program, we accrue more and more designations out of our total teacher population. This is still based on our current eligible teacher population, which was 1,239 in the first year, based on the number we currently have. If I said, well, how many of you were designated in year 1, it would be about 16.4% of those teachers. And if we said how many of you were designated based on year 2, based on our proposed designations, that would be at just shy of 50%. Again, I want to state what I stated up front, which is that we prioritize and are prioritizing the expansion of this system and the designation of McAllen ISD's teachers. However, that 46.7% is a number that is based on the state's validation. We undergo system alignment validation and data validation. System alignment goes through TEA, data validation goes through Texas Tech University. They match us up to a series of statistical checks. And when the district makes decisions based on the data set that we have, it is our responsibility to present the data in a manner that is in alignment with those expectations to ensure that the teachers who meet the state's expectations of, or excuse me, approximately the state's expectations, are able to be identified and proposed. Let me slide it to the next one. This is the source of some of the feedback that we've gotten regarding cut points. The state minimums have been posted in our guidebook and in all district communications. However, in all district communications regarding this material, we also stated that the district's minimum performance standards would be determined at the end of the data capture year. It's even written there in the guidebook. And this is part of a district's responsibility. All districts that participate in TIA are able to go through this process in order to ensure that when we submit, we have our greatest chance of having our proposed designations validated by the state, and therefore those teachers getting those designations. It's important to note that the district's data validation takes place as a whole. We either all go in or none go in. So we proposed 406 new designations this year. We will either walk away with those designations or no designations. I also want to note while I'm here that other districts in our area who we have received feedback about also do this process and have other cut points besides the state minimum cut points. And I'll talk about that when I get a little further down the line. As I said, there are two components to the plan: student growth and teacher evaluation. This histogram shows or bar chart, shows our distribution of district data. The normal curve that's there, the bell curve, if you will, is there for visual reference. As you can see, our data crests at a different place than the expected values. Because our data is skewed and shows that it's collected to the right side of the chart, our curve shifts to the right as well. And that's what ends up happening when we have to analyze the data. We sit with CARE we sat with partners from TXI and from Region 1 to analyze the data and to determine what would be the best way to submit our data in a way that presented what was aligned with our district's local plan and also what was aligned with the state's validation expectations. There are many factors that go into it over and above those original percentages I showed at the beginning. They compare many things, and those consultants help us analyze and understand that while we go through and analyze the options that are available to us. The same phenomenon happened with our teacher evaluation scores. You can see that the scores are collected at the right. The state's expected average is a 3. Our average was actually closer to a 4. Again, that curve looks more like that for us. And because those numbers move to the right, because our data set moved to the right, that means that these minimum numbers would also increase because they slide with the data, because you're trying to identify the percentages within that band of teachers. And that is exactly how we propose designations and how districts propose designations in general. Oh, I don't know what happened there.
It's reloading, Mr.
Oh.
Yeah, just give it time. Ms. Garcia will.
This doesn't count towards my total time. While I'm here, I want to just say one more time that McAllen ISD prioritizes expanding our total number of eligible teachers and maximizing our number of designations, but appropriately and in alignment with the state's validation expectations, because again, we get validated as a whole, and it's our responsibility to make sure that we present that data in the correct light. Okay. I guess the thing is over there, isn't it? Okay. This is some information that was shared in the teachers in the video that I shared out to the campuses. Excuse me. When our data moved to the right, those were the numbers that we arrived at. I want to use this opportunity to explain a couple of things. In the first year, when I said we had one student growth measure, that student growth measure is called MAP. That assessment is a national assessment. It is highly normed. When the state sets their expectations, they're generally in alignment with the STAR, which is also highly normed. And therefore, when we have MAP data and STAR data to look at, generally, that data, because it's normed, tends to be more aligned. In 2023-24, because we only had that one, for that data captured year, we only had that one assessment, our data was mostly aligned, and therefore we were able to use the state minimum performance standards as our district's local standards. And I think that's the first thing that people need to understand is that, yes, we decided to remain with those numbers, but that does not mean that those numbers were set. They were analyzed at the end, and we made the determination as a district to remain with those numbers. This year, the district looked at the data from 24-25 and realized that the data had slipped to the right. This is also because we increased to 11 different assessments. And when you add 11 different assessments, you add some capacity for variation within the shape of that data. That is a big expansion. I will share that with you now. We did that on purpose to make sure that we maximize the number of eligible teachers because different departments align with different exams. For example, our CTE teachers were not included in year one of the plan, but with the youth science exam, they are able to be included. Our physical education teachers were not included in year one of the plan, but with the fitness gram, they are able to be included in the plan. And that happens throughout. And in phase 3, we also have expansions that allow us to further include and appropriately test special education populations and other areas. The state minimums are listed there again. At this moment, I would like to point out that we do get feedback sometimes about what's happening up in FAR. That seems to be an exemplar district for the area regarding teacher incentive allotment. And I want to share that they had a meeting like this back in March, and their data cut points were set at 4.0, 4.25, and 4.5. And their student growth measures were set at 80%, 85%, and 90%. 90%. The reason that their numbers look different than ours is because every district has a unique system. Every district aligns with different assessments. Every district takes a different approach in their local system. The two data sets will not be the same shape. And therefore, different districts make different decisions. However, I was able to determine that they actually even used the same data consultant that we used this year and received the same feedback. These are consultants that run out of Region 18, and they work with districts across the state as a data hub to give feedback and run simulations of the state's validation process. Again, we get validated as a whole, either 0 or all. So this shows the accrued impact. Again, I just want to make sure that I stress the fact that we are accruing. I also wanted to talk about, while I have this on the screen, this document, which I believe Ms. Norma gave out. This is a district-by-district comparison. I was able to gather up the data from the other districts. These numbers are based on total teacher population rather than eligible teacher population for a couple of reasons. But primarily because that seemed to be the best way to compare across districts. So some of these percentages will not match because there's a different denominator, but for comparison purposes, it is the same. The way to read this, because districts start in different years, I aligned up the green column is year 1 for each district. The blue column is year 2. And then you can see that PSJA has like an orange column. That's because they have a 3rd year and they will be proposing for their 4th year this year. Our blue column, we had a green column, which was year 1, which I talked about at the beginning. Our blue column is our 2nd year. And you can see that if you compare those green columns and those blue columns, that the feedback that we have received regarding PSJA is reflective of the fact that people are not understanding the accrual process. The accrual process would lead to PSJA having currently an accrued total percentage of 74% of their teachers carrying designations. But that's because in a given year, they designated different percentages of teachers. So in year 1, they had 18%, and you can see that we had 15% in year 1. In year 2, they were at 45%. We are currently at proposed 38. That number is actually a little bit distorted because we actually hired teachers. We have 85 additional teachers that we've added currently, whereas they did not hire as many teachers. And so therefore our percent is a little off. I also want to point out that because this does not reflect eligible teachers, the 38% is not necessarily the most best representative number. I prefer to compare based on eligible teacher population because, again, there are teachers that would need to be taken out because they're not eligible for the program. They have less than a year of service. They may not be district employees and a number of other reasons. However, again, based on total population, this is the comparison that we have. And just finally, I would like to say a couple of quick words of thanks to the team. We had a lot of late nights here, myself and the TIA core team. We meet every week. But while we were preparing for the data submission, we did have a lot of data to process, and we did have a big expansion to deal with. And I appreciate all of their efforts, and some of us stayed here quite late working on this. I also want to thank the teachers of McAllen ISD, who we have the opportunity to represent and to propose designations for. We really do care about establishing and setting quality data points. I had said to a few people not long ago that, I'm proud to be a part of a district that's willing to take responsibility for our data. We may not have had a data set that mirrors the state's averages 100%, but the program allows us to take responsibility and set our cut points and preserve the designations for those teachers who we are able to designate within the framework of the program. The alternative is to leave them at the state minimums and to sort of say, well, we'll blame it on the state when it goes through and the consultant's words were likely to not be validated. We can say, well, the state minimums, we kept them because we didn't want to receive emails. But instead, I'm very happy to be part of the team that said, no, those of us in leadership have a responsibility, and we will communicate it and we'll share it. We have been communicating these program intentions since the beginning of the year. This was always the plan. This was always the plan from the beginning of year 1 as well. And finally, I would like to say that it continues to be the plan. Some people have asked me if the numbers are permanently like this. They are not. They are based on each year's data and the shape of that data. And we are making changes this year, so it's possible that we will have a different distribution again. Each year we reflect, we take feedback, we take that feedback seriously, and that is the purpose of communicating with the teachers the cut points that we established, et cetera, and also to continue to improve and expand the program. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions?
I do. Mr. Grassi, thank you so much for your presentation tonight, and thank you for taking time to meet with me earlier to discuss this. Dr. Deos, Dr. Ms. Nino, Dr. Gutierrez, I know we've had a lot of questions. I think it's clear to me from talking to you all and all the work that's been in. Mr. Grassi, you mentioned some late nights. In fact, I heard you were here at 2 in the morning, some nights validating data.
I would like to say thank you to Ms. Thelma Rosell and Ms. Lisette Hinojosa as well.
And I know this is not easy, but it's clear to me that y'all made every effort to ensure that we were able to designate, or at least propose to designate, as many teachers as humanly possible within the state parameters. Because if we had continued with the state minimums, that it's very likely, almost guaranteed, that the state would have said no designations for MIC this year. And just by going from the year 2, we're at 46.7%, potentially, if the state does validate it, will be close to 50% of eligible teachers designated. I think that shows how much dedication and commitment that y'all have. I think the fact that our bell curve is to the right of what the state expects shows that this district, that our teachers are doing what they need to do, that we have such incredible teachers. They're putting the time, they're putting the dedication, that our whole bell curve is just shifted to the right. You mentioned our data skewed. Am I right by interpreting it that way? That our teachers at MISD are performing above what the state expected them to do?
Absolutely. I think that when we look at the growth and when we compare the T-test data, we see that, I know that we are a high-performing district, and people have cited that to me. And I think that that's something that it's great to have high-performing data and data that's over and above state averages, and to have teachers that are accomplishing those things. And again, that is part of the reason why we're happy to work within the framework of the program to ensure that we're able to propose designations for those and to continue to accrue every year. And as Mr. Haddad said, it's for me, the satisfaction is seeing that number be just shy of 50% within our second year, and having the idea of saying, well, where can we be in another year or another 2 years? And that also goes back to our teachers and just the quality of their instruction.
And I do think, given the number of teachers that were expecting that a state minimum equaled, guaranteed designation, I think that provides us opportunity for better communication. And I know we've talked about that. I read the field guide, I watched the 2024 presentation by Ms. Hannah. I saw the current materials. It's clear to me that in there, it does state that the cut points would be selected after the data reviewed. But the number of teachers that didn't get that message shows that while we did communicate it, maybe it wasn't effective. So Dr. De Hoyos, I know you and I have talked extensively about that. Can you share what the ideas that you brought forward about how to include teachers in the process past April through the stakeholders committee? I asked you, someone brought up that PSJ does have a stakeholders committee, representation from every campus. You mentioned that we have something similar and that we can make it a little bit more robust to ensure that this communication goes on throughout the year, and through the evaluation when we have a third party, that the teachers have input and insight into that process.
That is right. Good afternoon. So we do have stakeholder committee meetings, and one of the things that I was explaining to Mr. Haddad is that mainly on the year one, that these stakeholder committees were mainly meeting for what plan we were going to submit for the application. And so being that year one, we didn't have to make a tough decision to change cut scores and all that. We continue that process. We continue getting stakeholder feedback and to the future, the application where we're going to submit. So one thing that I proposed to TIA Core Committee is we don't stop in the April when we submit the application. We continue these meetings and just give updates on the cohort that we picked up the data, the cohort that we're currently in, and then the future cohort. Instead of where before the agenda was only what is the future plan for the application that we're going to submit? And that was the discussion, and that's what we worked on really, on what we were going to submit and ask for the next cohort. Now I believe that we're at the place where these meetings will continue year round, and we give an update on cohort prior, current cohort, and a future cohort. So that's one thing that I'm recommending to the TIA Core meeting, which we meet every week. The other adjustment that we've already started is through the lead committee. So the lead committee is composed of 90% of the members are teachers. And each campus sends a representative to the lead committee. And this committee is really an advisory committee to the superintendent and mainly look at things like how can we improve professional development for teachers, how can we improve curriculum, how can we improve efforts like the teacher incentive allotment. And so when these members are selected by the campus, the task is, or the ask is, whatever you hear in the lead meeting, you then take it to the campus and ensure that you turn it around to your campus, and then if there's any questions or feedback, you bring it back, right? So this year, we've asked for more like a verification of when you turn around that presentation to your campus, the date that you went back and you spoke to your campus, when did you present, and then also what feedback or what questions do you still have? And so just continuing with that, I think we will have a better form of communication to our campuses and then get more feedback from our teachers. So those are the two adjustments that we're doing this year.
Thank you. And I think, when we do the evaluations next summer, was it August, September, that, involving whether it's a lead committee or teacher representations in that process, so they have insight into the data, I think would be very helpful. And then I have one more question for you, Mr. Cross. I think you believe you covered in your presentation, but this year, our cut points were above the state minimums.
Yes, sir.
But that doesn't mean next year we can't submit data that's at the state minimums. Are we always going to be increasing the cut points? Is my question.
No, the validation protocols don't call for us to do that at all. In fact, they call for us to look at the data that we have. And every year, any adjustments that we make to the program, of course, introduce variability. There may be changes that are made. There may be recalibrations that are done. So, for example, as we continue to improve the program, it's a reflective cycle. We ask teachers to reflect. They execute lessons, and we have excellent growth every year. And no matter how well we do, we always say, take a look at how you did this year. Think about your lessons. Think about your standards. Look at your student performance, and think about how you're going to do better next year. And I think we do that in our program as well. We've had our program here for 2 years, and we're modeling that practice for our teachers in the sense that we take in feedback. Our program is currently 2 years old, and as I said, we're compared to PSJA. We're making our second year is our proposed year. They're in their fourth. This is their proposed. The proposal will be for year 4. Of course, they have some characteristics from going through that cycle more times. And of course, we look and see what has been modeled and see what has been effective and think about adopting it. And we take all feedback in that sense.
Anybody else?
Yeah, a couple quick questions. Thank you all for all of this. One of the questions I received, yes.
Just 1 second. Just to loop back and say a more direct answer. Because we have to look at the data as it comes in by the end of the year, of course, we look at the shape of that curve and align that bell curve with care every year. So those numbers can be the state minimums, or they could potentially be different.
So it could move to the left or it could move to the right, depending on the data.
Correct. It's static depending on the
Right.
data. I mean, sorry, it's not static.
Yeah, not static. So it could be that we go and submit the data based on the state minimums, if that's what the data shows.
Thank you. One of the questions I received in talking to folks is there any way to make the TIA payouts not taxable? I think the answer to that is no. The IRS would argue otherwise wholeheartedly, correct?
Unfortunately, no. That's within the state guidelines. Applicable taxes and fees apply, and of course, TRS applies.
Yep.
And I think that I've talked to people on the other side of the coin that because TRS is calculated off the top 5 years, and your clock lasts for 5 years, there are some teachers who are very happy to make that TRS contribution. I think it just depends on where you're at in your story.
Thank you. Looking forward for the 25-26 school year, is there any intention to expand the number of student growth measures again? Because I know we went through a major expansion.
Yes, we did go through a major expansion. For this data capture year, 25-26, we're going to be looking at 13 assessments instead of 11. One assessment that I'm happy to say we include is N2Y, which helps us to include and more appropriately test students who are in the special education environment. And so, again, every year we reflect and we say, what is a better way for us to serve our students? by using this program to incentivize teachers and be able to measure that growth effectively and see that every student in McAllen ISD is getting the best service possible. And so that's part of our program goals. And yes, we are expanding because, again, we want to serve the students, we want to maximize our eligibility, and we would like to maximize our proposed number of designations.
Thank you. One last question. Yes, I know this is all coming new. In House Bill 2 in 2025, there was a reformulation of TIA. There is a new designation coming online, acknowledged. When
Very
does that
exciting.
become available for teachers in our context?
It's very exciting, and I want to point out that we did get feedback about the guidebook, but we have posted an updated guidebook at this time, and it does include the acknowledged designation.
Great.
And yeah, that designation is going to be able to designate the top 55%. So that aligns with the top 55% of Texas teachers, and then recognized will actually move up a bit. So they're sort of pushing the scale up by introducing a designation of acknowledged. They're also going to add a separate designation for those who are national board certified.
That's right. How many national board certified teachers do we have? Do you have that number?
Presently none.
Okay, thank you.
Is it possible that the payout, excuse me, the additional money could be in a separate check? I've had people ask me that as well.
Actually, and again, that's feedback that we did get.
That's the plan. That's the plan for this year.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
And I just want to speak, this is very complicated, even for someone with a background in education. And so thank you, Mr. Grassi, for explaining this. You and your team are working around the clock. I also want to directly speak to those of you who we've received emails from, who understandably had a misunderstanding. I know it's very complicated. And I think there's a lot of room for improvement, as with anything that's rolled out like this. Do we have anything on our website or a FAQ page dedicated to TIA?
Yes, and we're planning to roll out more.
Okay.
As we take in feedback, that's how we're determining what we're going to be putting through. As I said, we are currently in the process of collecting and analyzing this data, well, as you see, it has been collected and analyzed and collated. And therefore, we're able to reflect on that as a source of information, as well as the feedback that we get regarding teacher communication or taxation or separate checks or any other things that we introduce into the program.
Right. I understand a lot of people understood that they would be eligible for this and made arrangements, and I get that is an awful feeling. So just on behalf of us, we're going to all do a better job and move forward with this. So, and thank you, admin, everyone else.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
Trustee
Rivas, Ms. Nino.
And thank you to Mr. Grassi.
I have one question, I'm sorry. Going back to the comment that was made about the TIA committee, is the TIA committee the same as our lead committee? Like, are those the
No.
representatives? So then I guess my question would also be, for those that are on the TIA committee, if there are people that should be rolled off, not necessarily change that committee annually, because I think it's great to have experts at your campus regarding all of this information, given the complexity of it all, to ensure that they're taking back to their campus correct information, most up-to-date information, is ensuring that every campus does have someone that understands and is able to communicate and take that to their campus and likewise return whatever concerns or comments to you. Just because I think we've all said it, it's very complex, it's very personal, it's very emotional for a lot of families, because this could mean $50,000 to $100,000 for a married couple. You know, it is impactful in the most biggest way for our staff. And so I can understand the emotion behind the emails and the calls that we got. But I think if we do our part in getting that information back to the campus, you know, that is the most that we can do. If there's a part of the website, if there's a chat bot that can, you know, help respond to questions, whatever it is that we can do. But I think that you are doing an amazing job for us only having this as our second year, and you just, took this on this year, and I appreciate the work that you're done and the staff that we've done, and I appreciate that we are trying to get the most designations for our staff here at McAllen.
And if I can add, the reason I mentioned the lead committee is because every meeting, we have a TIA update.
Component, okay.
Yes, a TIA update in those meetings because of the amount of representatives that come to the meeting. And that's another venue where we inform campuses. Also, monthly, we meet with our principals. We also bring presentations, updates to elementary, secondary principals. We also have, the website, which I do have to say, Mr. Grassi, we're very grateful that Mr. Grassi came to us, and he's new, and he just came straight to a pile of data. And that is the truth, and that's why he would stay, which I found out later. He was staying till 1 or 2 in the morning. I was like, no, that's not healthy, but anyways. But he was here, and that's what he came to. And so now that the data is submitted, now the next level work is updating as much as we can the website, and also putting up a lot more information. And so it's also a work in progress, right? And like.
Our curve is moving to the right as well.
Exactly, exactly.
Got it. Thank you.
Trustee Peña?
I just want to say thank you, Mr. Grassi. Like, you're a brave man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as I
Good
said,
job.
just in response, I think that it's just, we're all very proud to do our part for the teachers that are working as hard. Because I know some of them stay up late as well, working on lessons, working on grades,
All of them.
preparing for those kiddos. And so, I'm happy to have the job, and thank you for the opportunity.
And in closing, Mr. Grassi, I echo the same sentiments, and just in the vein of wanting to support all of our teachers, but especially those that maybe, I guess working to our moving target is really difficult, and it's a moving target to all of us. So whatever we could do as a board to help support our teachers and get them access to the training and things that they need to hit that mark, we're all ears. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Trustee, may I make one more comment? I meant to say this earlier. When I'm looking at the presentation, the TBD, anytime you write that, or anyone writes that, I just think it's a really big cliffhanger. And maybe there's a way that we can better
estimate
explain that. Because TBD is like, well, what does that mean? I know it probably does come from, but it just seems,
Maybe just worded determined, to be
It's like
determined
a
by,
big
to be determined by the
cliffhanger.
state, or to be
Yeah.
determined,
Actually modified that caption to the bottom of the chart now.
Okay,
so that
cool.
it says that spelled out.
In
And
bold,
I
please.
bolded.
Maybe red letters.
A good chunk of the book as well, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grassi.
thank you, Mr. Grassi.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, now item 6A5, discussion and possible action on the purchase of the proposed book titles for elementary and middle school libraries, posted October 1 to October 30th. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, in compliance with Senate Bill 13, 780 book titles. They're focusing on diverse, age-appropriate literature to enrich our students' reading experiences. Was publicly posted on our district website and at all school sites for the required 30-day review period in full compliance with Senate Bill 13. During this time, we have not received any public comments or concerns. Ms. Ann Vega, our Director for the Digital Learning and Library Services, is available to answer any questions. We are recommending action on this item.
Hi, Ms. Vega.
Hi.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Vega? And if not, do we have a motion?
Yes.
Are you going to move, Ms. Vega?
Wait, say that again?
I asked if we have a motion. This is for action.
I will move.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Trustee Haddad and a second by Trustee Peña. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Ms. Vega. And item 6A6, discussion and possible action on student and staff travel to Salamanca, Spain for the study abroad program. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, McAllen ISD is in partnership with Cursos Internacionales de la Universidad de Salamanca, offers McAllen ISD 11th grade students the opportunity to study abroad for 2 weeks in Salamanca, Spain. Ms. Alexandra Gonzalez, our Director for Advanced Academic Services, will present more information on this item, and we are recommending action on this item as well.
Hi, good evening,
Good-
everybody.
good evening.
So we do have our fourth year going on with the Study Abroad program. It is going to be taking place from June 13th through the 27th of June. And there is 3 courses that the students are going to be participating while they're over in Salamanca in Spain, which is our Spanish language, our culture, our language, and then the speech, which is a communications course. So students, while they're there for the 2 weeks, they are attending class from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The trip does include all of the room and board. It includes transportation. There is also 2 excursions that go out in the weekend with the students, and they have journaling activities as well, and it's a great opportunity for them to just go and participate in this, life-changing cultural experience as they're over there. And they do acquire a half credit for high school with the special topics in social studies.
Does anybody have any questions?
Sounds like a great program.
It truly is.
And I want to thank Dr. Gonzalez for taking continuing with this program. As you know, Ms. Cabrera is retiring, so Ms. Gonzalez is saying yes to continuing on with the program, so thank you.
Yes, no, thank you all for the opportunity. We're excited.
We're recommending.
Okay, and this this item is for action. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Haddad and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. Okay, now we're on item 6B1.
Madam Vice President, if I may ask that if we could pull out items 1, 2, and 3, we will be bringing these items to our December 9th meeting due to, we need more time on those 3 items.
Okay, very well. So items 6B, 1, 2, and 3 have been pulled. We've already taken care of item 6C1, so that takes us to item 6C2, report regarding taxes collected for the quarter of July to September 2025. Dr. Gutierrez.
Ms. Lorena Garcia, our Deputy Superintendent for Business and Operations, will report on the taxes collected by the Hidalgo County Tax Office on behalf of McAllen ISD for the quarter of July through September of 2025. This item is for information purposes only. Ms. Garcia, go ahead.
Yes. As you can see on the report, we don't have yet the 2025 tax roll, so this is only 2024 and prior years. And for July, we had collected to date $251,628.59. And then, in addition to that, in August, we collected $608,329,054. And then finally, for September, we had a collection to date of $915,851.66. And those are the 3 tax collections for the quarter of July through September.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Thank you, Ms. Garcia.
Thank you.
And that takes us to the next item, number 3, report regarding the financial and investment report for the quarter of July to September 2025. Dr. Gutierrez?
Yes, Ms. Lorena Garcia, again, our Deputy Superintendent for Business and Operations, will present the financials and investment report for the quarter of July through September of 2025, and this item is for information purposes only. Go ahead, Ms. Garcia.
Yes, what you're seeing on the screen is a comparison of budget to revenues and expenditures and encumbrances, and we have a 2-year comparison. We have the approved budget from the prior year and the year-to-date actual. And then column C is the approved budget for 25-26, where revenues were $265,073,660. Expenditures were $273. As approved by the board, $273,801,689. Year-to-date, our actual expenditures are $1,953,115 under the revenues. We also have the quarterly investment report, and if I may scroll to the report. This is our report. Yield for the quarter was at 4.30. And then our current quarter earnings were $1,413,819.60.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for Ms. Garcia? Trustee Haddad?
I do have on the investment report, there's, at the federal level, there's move to allow, pensions, investment funds to invest in private equity type investments. Would we be allowed to do that? And I will be very upfront, I would not want us to do that, but it's just a question at this point.
We follow the Public Investment Act, and it has very stringent and conservative investment guidelines. And we work with our financial consultant in making those investments. So at this time, I don't believe that that's something that has changed, because we would have had to have brought it back to you for inclusion in our board policy.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Okay, the next item, number 4, report regarding intent to apply for fiscal year 2025 strategies to support children exposed to violence and fiscal year 2025 body-worn camera policy and implementation program to support law enforcement agencies. Dr. Gutierrez.
The funding opportunity for fiscal year 2025 strategies to support children exposed to violence seeks to develop support for children exposed to violence in their homes, schools, and communities, and to develop, enhance, and implement violent crime reduction strategies that focus on violent juvenile offenders. The fiscal year 2025 body-worn camera policy and implementation program supports publicly funded law enforcement and correctional agencies in establishing or expanding body-worn camera programs. Ms. Laura Williams, our Director for Purchasing Services, will present more information on this item, and this is also an item that is for information purposes only. Go ahead, Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez. Good evening, Dr. Gutierrez and Board of Trustees. I am here to provide a report regarding these 2 grants, our intention to apply or we have already applied for the fiscal year 2025 strategies to support children exposed to violence grant and the fiscal year 2025 body-worn camera policy and implementation program to support law enforcement agencies. The first grant is a 36-month, 3-year grant period. There are 9 anticipated awards. Our anticipated award is $730,000 to provide our school-based law enforcement officers with restorative justice techniques, trauma-informed practices, and adolescent development, also utilizing our canine therapy, Chewy, Penny, and Buddy. Sorry, he was just in our office yesterday. This training will establish structured partnerships with our community stakeholders, student-focused prevention and intervention programs, thus creating a positive and protective environment for our students. The next grant, our body-worn camera policy grant, is again a 3-year, 36-month grant opportunity. There are 30 anticipated awards nationwide. Our anticipated award came in a little bit less than this at $215,784. This grant does have a 50% match, which equates to $107,892, and this would equip all 63 officers with body-worn cameras to enhance the accountability within our department, transparency, and make sure that our officers stay safe on a daily basis. And that is my report regarding these 2 grants. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Ms.
Thank
Williams.
you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Okay, the next item, number 5, discussion and possible action of the McAllen Independent School District October budget amendment for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026. Dr. Gutierrez.
We recommend approval of the October 2025 budget amendment for the 25-26 fiscal year. Ms. Lorena Garcia, our Deputy Superintendent for Business and Operations, will present more information on this item, and we are recommending action on this item as well. Ms. Garcia?
Yes. In terms of revenue, we are transferring some safe and secure funds for a vinyl wrap at Bettis in the amount of $8,465. In regards to our expenditures, We are using Fund 199 to purchase supplies, ebooks for dual and science courses at UTRGB Collegiate Academy. This is part of the new instructional facilities allotment. We also will be reimbursing the maintenance department for some projects that they funded earlier in the year, and they will be using this $200,000 for contracted maintenance, repairs, and maintenance and supplies. And then in addition to that, we have a video wall that is being purchased for the police department, and that is out of the school safety allotment grant in the amount of $70,171.
We recommend inaction on this item.
Is there a motion?
A motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Haddad and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Number 6, discussion and possible action on competitive seal proposal number 2026-1020, Veterans Memorial Stadium upgrades. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration solicited competitive seal proposals for Veterans Memorial Stadium upgrades. Mr. Ruben Trevino, our Executive Director for Facilities and Maintenance and Operations, is available to answer questions. We are recommending action on this item, and this is a 3-part motion item.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I motion to approve motion to approve the ranking for selection of general contractor for competitive seal proposal number 2026-1020, Veterans Memorial Stadium upgrades.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Haddad and a second by trustee Peña. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion part A carries 6-0.
Madam Vice President, I move to approve that administration begin with negotiations with the highest ranked contractor. If the district is unable to negotiate a satisfactory contract with the selected contractor, the district shall formally and in writing end negotiations with that contractor and proceed to the next contractor in the order of the selection ranking until a contract is reached or all proposals are rejected.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I heard trustee Carrion. I have a motion by trustee Dr. Kittleman and trustee Carrion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion part B carries 6-0.
And Madam Vice Chair, I move to authorize the superintendent to execute a contract in accordance with the procedure set out in the Texas Government Code Section 2269.254 once the contractor negotiations have been successfully achieved.
Second.
I have I have a motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Peña. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion part C carries 6-0. Item number 7, discussion and possible action on competitive seal proposal number 2026-1019, silent panic alarm system rebid. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration solicited competitive seal proposals for silent panic alert systems. Ms. Judith Escamilla, our Executive Director for Technology, is available to answer questions. We are recommending action on this item, and this is also a 3-part motion item.
Do I have a motion as to part A?
Move to approve the ranking for selection of general contractor for competitive seal proposal number 2026-1019, silent panic alarm system rebid.
I have a motion. Is there a second? I have a motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Peña. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries part A 6-0.
I move to approve that administration begin with negotiations with the highest ranked contractor. If the district is unable to negotiate a satisfactory contract with the selected contractor, the district shall, formally and in writing, in negotiations with that contractor, and proceed to the next contractor in the order of the selection ranking until a final contract is reached or all proposals are rejected.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Carrion and a second by trustee Peña. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Madam Vice President, I move to authorize the superintendent to execute a contract in accordance with the procedures set out in Texas Government Code Section 2269.254 once contractor negotiations have been successfully achieved.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Dr. Kittleman and a second by trustee Peña. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Item D. Board of Trustees items D1, discussion and possible action regarding setting a workshop date and/or special board meeting to update and/or modify the McAllen ISD strategic plan. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, the board is asking us to consider setting a date for a workshop or special board meeting to review and discuss potential updates and modifications to the McAllen ISD strategic plan. We are recommending direction on this item, but we have already been inquiring with different groups out there that can help us update our strategic plan, and Mr. Canales will, Dr. Canales, I'm sorry, will present an overview of what we have in mind in designing an updated strategic plan for McAllen ISD. Go ahead, Dr. Canales.
Let me get you that information. So we did have we're trying to get it up right here, but I can kind of go over it really quickly while we're getting that up there. So the strategic plan it's a little old, right? It was board approved in 9/26 of 2016, updated in 2018 in July. Current strategies, we do have 4 goals there. The goals remain the same. The strategies have changed a little bit, slightly. So when you look at our approaches to leadership model, those 7 strategies have changed, right? So we do need to do a little bit of updating there for sure. The strategic plan as well should be about a 3 to 5 year plan. So it definitely needs to be looked at and updated. Should include an executive summary overview. Should include a purpose of the plan, stakeholder and community feedback. Also the vision, mission, and district core beliefs, right? Those are some new terminologies that are being used now with new strategic plans that are being put out there by districts. Also, McAllen district profile should include student enrollment, demographics, academic achievement, what our strengths of the district are, challenges, opportunities that we have to enhance the district and student achievement. Also, strategic priorities, such as our 7 district strategies in our new plan. The goals should be specific and measurable. An example like advanced academics in dual enrollment, how many should we increase by? What are the percentages we should have by year 1, year 2, year 3? So we definitely want to see some measurable outcomes there and CT pathways as well. Promote transparency and accountability, and communication and community engagement. The planning committee should include, of course, our school board members, our superintendent, central office administration, teachers, students, parents, and community members. And the strategic plan should be a plan where it's anywhere from 15 to 30 pages. Our plan right now is 138 pages. Right, so it's a big plan there. Concise plan, and I've looked up the research on it, should be 10 to 15 pages. If you want it more detailed, maybe 25 to 30 pages. Should be a living document, of course, right? So we can make edits as we need. And then the community and stakeholders should see a 1 to 2 page document outlining our plan, right? So a quick at a glance for our community members, teachers, and everybody else. And administration is recommending an update to the current strategic plan, and the administration also recommending outside consultation.
Well, then, Madam Vice President, I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and set a date for a workshop to review and update the MISD strategic plan.
And the outside consultation, we're looking at costs, maybe up to 20,000, possibly, but that'll take us through the whole process of a strategic plan.
I think we have a timeline that we could probably, maybe within 6 months to get this all together, so that, because we have to involve so many stakeholders and have meetings, and then probably do breakout meetings with them so that they could help us design the strategic plan. But it may take up, I don't think it's more than 6 months, but just to be on the safe side, about up to 6 months.
That's correct.
Yes, Trustee Kittleman.
I think it's important, as we have a workshop tomorrow over facilities needs, that we also are kind of paralleling with our strategic plan. That's why I think it's important that we have both of those aligned as we go potentially for talking about our facilities needs. So that is why I think it's important that we continue this, and 6 months is good to know. So does that mean 6 months from whenever we have the meeting, plan the meeting, or what does that mean?
Well, as soon as we can start, we're already starting the process.
Okay.
So we're already starting that process, like in November. And so I would say that.
Potentially before the end of the school year.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That would be the goal.
Good.
Yeah, that would be fair.
And just so I understand, then we're saying we're going to have a strategic plan before a new strategic plan before the end of the school year, or we're going to have the meeting before the end of the school year?
Well, the strategic plan by the end of the school year.
Okay.
Which is in May.
Okay.
No later than May.
Correct.
A brief comment. I was at a training hosted by TASB earlier this semester, and in one of the sessions, the presenter sort of noted that they have a suite of services around this. I am not in a position to evaluate the strength of those services. I believe they said it was included as a membership benefit for districts that are members, and that their model has 3 days of intensive consultative support with work spread in between. So it wouldn't be like we come in on a Tuesday and then we're done by Thursday, but it'd be start on a Tuesday, 4 weeks later, come back on another day.
It takes time.
8 weeks after that, come back with homework
Yeah.
in between. I'll leave it to you all to do the sort of vetting if that is indeed the right fit for who we are and what we need. But a no-cost option, if it's high quality, might be a good way to go.
Dr. Canales, we've been talking to three agencies or three consultants, if you will?
We were talking to 3 consultants, so right now we have a consultant, one is Mo Casey, the other one is Region 1, and then Region 18 also reached out to them. So I've been in talks. I just talked with Region 1 today via Zoom, and I'm doing another callback with them, hopefully before the end of the week.
And we're looking at those strategic plans that they've worked with so we're asking Mo Casey, we're asking Region 1, TASB, whomever, is to tell us which districts they've worked with, that they have a strategic plan in place so that we can go online and look at it and see what it looks like, and see what we think fits us better.
Correct, and some said they can do it, some said it could take up to a year, and some are saying 6 months, 4 months, so it's also, how quickly we're gonna need this to have an updated plan as well. We gotta look at all those options.
Any other comments? Or we have a motion on the floor. Is that what we?
We don't have we were just having a discussion for requesting direction, but I think we've already discussed that, but.
Well, there's a motion by trustee Peña to discuss
Well, it appeared that we needed a motion to go ahead and set a meeting, so, because it's written there, so I made a motion. We don't need a motion, I rescind it.
Second. Do we need a motion?
Yeah,
It's on the floor, so you'd either need to take a vote. The vote's not going to do any harm if you want to make a motion to instruct the superintendent to set a date in coordination with you all. That would probably be.
Okay, so trustee Peña's motion, and then trustee Kittleman second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Item D2 is approval of the Board of Education meeting minutes, regular board meeting October 21st, 2025.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Peña and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Item number 7, recess to closed session. The Board of Trustees may go into closed session pursuant to sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.076, and 551.089 of the Texas Government Code to discuss the following: A, human resources recommendations for the school year 2025-2026, B, discussion of human resources employee resignations and retirees for school year 2025-2026, C, discussion regarding school safety and security, D, pending and or potential litigation, and E, possible real estate acquisition. At this time, it is 7:31, and the board is recessed to closed. It's 8:30, and we are reconvened in open session at number 8. Moving to number 9, action on items in closed session. 9A, discussion and possible action of human resources recommendations for the school year 2025-2026. Dr. Gutierrez?
Human Resources submitted a list of recommendations for the 25-26 school year under a separate cover for discussion during closed session. Administration is recommending action on this item.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second? Second. I have a motion by trustee Peña and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Item 9B, discussion of human resources employee resignations and retirees for school year 2025-2026.
Human Resources submitted a list of resignations and retirees for the 25-26 school year under a separate cover for discussion during closed session. Administration is recommending action on this item.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Peña and a second by trustee Dr. Kittleman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Item 9C, discussion regarding school safety and security.
No,
Nothing
nothing to report.
Nothing to report. Item D, pending and/or potential litigation. Mr. Ball?
Nothing to report.
Item 9E, possible real estate acquisition.
Same announcement.
And that takes us to number 10, scheduled meetings. Regular board meeting, December 9th, 2025 at 5:30 in the Dr. Ricardo Chapa Boardroom, Administration Building. And board workshop, student recognitions, December 16th, 2025, 5:30 p.m., McAllen High School Auditorium, 5:30 p.m.
And don't we have a workshop tomorrow?
In addition to our posted workshop tomorrow, November 12th at 5:30 p.m.
Yes.
here in the Dr. Ricardo Chapa Boardroom. Okay, that takes us to number 11, adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, a motion by trustee Peña and a second by trustee Haddad. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. We are adjourned at 8:32 p.m.
Thank you, Chris Artis.
Thank you, Chris.